Okay, fellas, I've got the first bogey all cleaned up and ready to go. Um, this is the metal suspension that comes with it. It's got the leaf spring on it. Like I said, it's a pretty nice little piece. Anyway, the road wheels just slide on there. Now what I like to do is I have a glass top on my table. So I'll just take a couple of drops of Loctite and drop it right down on the table. And I keep toothpicks around. I use the blue Loctite. So anyway, I get just a tiny little bit of Loctite, and I'm just going to put it down inside the threads. You only need a tiny little bit of this stuff. You don't want to slop it on there because you want these wheels to spin freely. You want everything to work, but you don't want the screw to back out. So just a tiny little bit of Loctite. Put my screws in there. Believe it or not, this is pretty awkward trying to hold this in front of the camera and do this. Hope you guys can see okay. I just run my screws down. I'm going to go off camera so I can hold these tight and tighten the screws. Tighten them, so they're nice and tight, but don't strip them out. Okay, now's the robo grip part. All right, so now the road wheels are in place, everything's good to go. There was a lot of discussion about this, about how to put these together with Loctite or super glue or what. But I have found that the best way is to just press them. So I get it started on there, nice and straight, okay? It's kind of lined up in there nice and straight. And then I get my robo grip, okay? I've got one jaw taped up so that it won't mar the front. This side will be okay because it's just going into the bare metal at the back of the post. Go right at the back of the post and right at the top of the spindle. You can look in between the tires while this is happening. You go very slowly. These will compress until they lock, and then bam, they press them right together. Now that wheel is pressed right down on there real nice. Okay, very, very simple operation. It's not going to come off either. If it does, then I'll have to go with super glue or something, but I got a feeling that if I need to take these apart, that's going to be kind of difficult to get off. So again, the robo grip, get lined up right on that sucker so that it's pressing straight down in there. You watch the pliers, you'll see how it kind of compresses right there until it finds its level, and then bam, it just presses them right together. You don't hardly need any squeeze at all. It just sits right down in there, just perfect. Okay, so once that's done, then it's just a question of a little more Loctite. Only this time, it's going in this hole here. Putting some Loctite in there on them threads with a toothpick. Sometimes I'll say Q-tip when I mean toothpick. Sorry about that. The 3mm hex key. Now you want to be very careful starting this so that it goes in nice and straight and catches those threads. You not want to let this cross thread. And then just slowly continue turning it. Take your time. There's no hurry. Hello. That's not exactly what I meant when I said take your time. I come down until it just feels right. You'll be able to tell. A little more. Just feels like it wants to bind. It'll break in just a little bit as you run it. And that's why we put the Loctite on, was to keep it right where we want it. So I'll leave that sit like that and let that Loctite get hard. 3 more bogeys to go. So that's 1 bogey. I'll run it without the caps on it for a little bit just to make sure that everything's going to stay tight. I'm not going to have to re-Loctite anything. But what I'm using is, I use the Prime Lock 245 Blue. The reason that I use this stuff is because the manufacturer claims that it is safe for plastic. I did some research on this stuff. You know, that's one thing I really learned from Rex. It's great to ask your buddies on the forum for help and ask them to tell you stuff, but there's sometimes when you just got to do the research yourself, you know? So thanks for that tip there, Rex, old buddy. So anyway, that's what I'm using, and I'll put the other 3 on, and we'll proceed. So see you next time.